I have to figure out where I have to go back. Nope, that wasn't it. Can you still see me? All right. Okay. So today is day one of Reflect, Release, and Expand. Today is day one of Reflect, Release, and Expand. Today is day one of Sorry, I'm getting feedback. I've got to figure out what's going on here. Release, and Expand. Today is day one of that's what it is. Sorry, I'm getting feedback. I've got to figure out what's going on here. Today. Aha, okay, I think I fixed it. All right, so today's day one of Reflect, Release, and Expand. And so at the end of any year, I think it is a great idea to kind of switch up what we've always done as far as, oh, let's make like New Year's resolutions, right? Like, because everybody's kind of shifting away from that, because I don't think that, I think there's a specific process that will be more effective in allowing us to take what we want out of this year and receive, let go of what didn't serve us well, what we want to let go of, and then what we want to shift or change into the new year. So the first thing that I would love for everybody to do is to just take a deep breath. You've done an amazing job this year. Life has come from all different directions. You've maneuvered, you've made decisions, you have received the ups, the downs, and the insides, the outsides, and you've made it. You're here. And you've grown so much on the journey here. So I'm sure there are many spaces that you may have had experiences along the way that felt very similar to what you had experienced before. At least that's what's happened for me. And so when those things keep coming around, I'm like, okay, what lesson have I not learned, or what have I not healed from in order to let this move on, right? For me to continue to move on and not have to experience this again. So there's that piece. And then we've had so many new experiences, right? You grew into places and you achieved greater things, or you let go of others, right? Like, so much has happened. And so I would love to just take a sheet of paper and divide it down the middle, and then give yourself like 6 horizontal lines or vertical lines. So we're basically going to grid out the year. And so you'll have a spot for each month, okay? I had one written up, and then the kids ended up playing and it got written on. So I'm just going to do it with you right now. All right. So we're going to do a vertical, or yes, I think this is vertical and this is horizontal. Yes. Okay. So we're going to do 1 vertical line and then 6 horizontal. So that we'll end up with 12 spaces. Okay. So then you're going to end up with a sheet that looks like this, probably a little more balanced than mine. All right. Then I'm just going to do like January up at the top left, February on the top right, and then just go back and forth in order to make your months. Okay. And then I would love for you to take some time in order to go back and just, in your mind, connect with each month of this past year of 2021 and connect with like the highlighting things. It may have been that you had something very positive and exciting happen, or maybe it was a real low. And so I'll just give some examples. So in January, for me, you know, it was the new year. There was all kinds of amazing things happening. My father ended up having to go in and have his leg amputated. And so for us, that was huge. Like that really rocked my boat, you know. But I also like received in like a collection of new clients into my community, into my coaching program. And so like it was mixed with highs and lows, right? And I had new practices, which I started implementing. I started my 6 a.m. club for my clients and I to get together and study every single morning. That was really fun. So then, you know, February, everything was kind of normal. My husband's birthday's that month, and, you know, there's Valentine's, maybe you had some celebrations there. The next month, you know, like I had new study partners and new masterminds that I started. Like we can go back and kind of pick out those highlighting things in each month of the year and kind of make like a collection of those really hard times and things that maybe you want to reflect back on and be like, wow, that really rocked my boat. It took me on a huge roller coaster. Or wow, that really felt amazing. And I really remember like riding that high, you know. Let's see, April, vaccinations started for COVID all over, you know, that had a huge impact on a lot of people. For us in our state, like there were lots of things within the government that shifted that affected a lot of families. Let's see. I was going to research like different things that happened within the US that, you know, could kind of trigger some things. You know, we got a new president, things were shifting. You know, come May, we have like Mother's Day and celebrations and all of those things. So I want to give you some time to like really sit and reflect on what this last year meant for you and how it impacted you, right? So for me, January started off a little rough, but everything came through really great. And then May came, you know, we kind of rallied from that, came back, everybody was, you know, positive, and then came back, and then my father like almost died from kidney failure. And like that took me right back down into like this crazy, like, you know, took me back actually way into my past, into past times when my father was really sick and we almost lost him multiple times, right? And it took my programming back into those moments as well. And gratefully, you know, 7 months later, my father is doing amazing. He's like driving and really healthy and all those good things. But like the journey's been quite the journey this year. And mine has been very impacted by family. Clients came and went, different shifts within our cultures and our communities, you know, things being locked down and things being opened up, and then people starting interacting with each other again. And then, you know, the whole scenario of masks, no masks, and people just kind of figuring out where they are. A lot of people stepped into their power this year as far as like learning what they desire and what they don't desire, right? Like they got shifted into this whole scenario of, oh, I can't be in public and I don't want to be in that workspace anymore. So maybe I'm going to branch out on my own and create something new, right? Like we've all had so many different experiences. So really just take the time to reflect back and see where you are, you know, and there's going to be positive and negatives. So some questions that I will put this in the comments on Facebook under this video, but maybe write down some questions to reflect back on. So the first one that I would reflect on is, what do I need to change in my life right now? What do I need to change in my life right now? Do you need to change anything? Have you maybe made some promises to yourself that you haven't been honoring? Then another one would be, what beliefs cage me that I need to set myself free from? So I can't remember who the person is that said it, but basically, like, our only limits that we have are those that we create on ourselves, right? Like, the elephant is such a huge, powerful animal, but it's caged in captivity by this chain and a stick, right? Because it was programmed, it believed that it wasn't able to go beyond, and that someone else had that control over them. Whereas they could very easily dominate that and like go beyond, right? So what beliefs cage you? What's holding you back as far as like a belief that you have? Maybe that you're not good enough, or that you have to know all the stuff before you can really go out and make it the impact that you want to have. Or maybe it's lack of confidence. You see someone else doing it, but you don't believe that you can do it yourself. There's so many. And then the next one is, where do I feel limited in my life? So the feeling of limitation comes from within. We are the only one that can make ourselves feel limited. How we perceive something, right? We can change anything to an opportunity. So, you know, maybe we feel like we're not worthy, or we're not smart enough. Can't do it because of, you know, XYZ. Maybe you don't believe that you can be an amazing mother and a freaking amazing businesswoman all at the same time, right? Or maybe you don't have XYZ skills to accomplish whatever that is, right? So what feeling of limitation are you having right now within your life? And we all have them, and they're going to shift, they're going to change as we grow and as we expand in our thoughts and perceptions. So for me, one of them was like, I either had to be fully devoted as an amazing mother, or I could be successful in my business, right? Like, if I was putting my family before my business, then that was the only way I could succeed at being a good mom, right? Or I had the belief that, like, to have that successful business, I had to sacrifice time with my family. Well, no, I chose to shift that one. And I'm like, no, I am a highly successful businesswoman and a damn good mother, right? And I didn't realize that I wasn't feeling that way until someone else said it. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm not really feeling like resonating with that. So that was one that I really made sure I shifted. Number 4, what did I promise to gift myself in 2021 that I didn't fulfill? So going back to like the New Year's resolutions, we're like, oh, I'm going to do this. Maybe I'm going to release whatever weight, or I'm going to make sure to get up at X time, or do that self-care, right? And do it every day. Get that massage every month. Make myself a priority. What is that thing that you promised yourself that you would gift or give yourself and you didn't? Because the thing is it's a lot easier to promise things to other people and keep our promises to them than it is to promise something to ourselves and then we're like, I'll do it next month. Because especially as women, we're conditioned to kind of put ourselves on the back burner and like make sure everybody else is okay. And, make sure that the house is running well and things at work are running well and the kids are running well and all that stuff. And it takes conditioning and practice to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable to the promises that we make for ourselves. And it goes back to that premise of, so I like to envision a vase with a beautiful bouquet in it, right? And then there's a whole bunch of little plants all around, and they all are asking for water and nurturing as well. And so we start pouring our vase out to everybody else. And before we know it, our vase is empty. We're totally depleted. Our flower is wilting. We feel like garbage. And they still are needing more, right? Instead of, in a different way, filling our vessel first, right? And everybody's always like making the reference to like flying, you have to put your mask on before you put anybody else's on. Well, you have to fill your vase. And instead of pouring your vase out on everybody else, we have to fill it up so it overflows. And and it's funny because I never got that until I started making sure that I scheduled time for me every day. And I scheduled that self-care for myself every day. And I take time for myself and I'm like, you know what? I just got to have a minute. And by me nurturing me, like everybody else is better for it. And it's not being selfish. It's just doing what needs to be done. And you deserve to be nurtured in that way. Right? And we're able to show up in a much better way when we do that. So everything is an effect of a cause, right? So we've heard of this law of cause and effect, right? The effect is the results. That's what we receive because of the cause, right? What is the cause? The cause is your consciousness, your awareness, how you're thinking. Okay, you are the cause to all of the effect that you receive. You are where all of your results come from, right? So when we look at the things in our life this past year that was awesome, that we get to celebrate, we're like, yes, that happened. I did that. I received that. And then we look at maybe the things that weren't so awesome, and maybe you didn't directly make it happen, but ultimately you were holding space in order for that thing to show up because of the consciousness, how you were thinking, how it transpired in your life, like happened that way because of your consciousness, right? So we have to look on the inside. Everything starts with you, right? So we're not going to ask for a situation to be better. We're going to ask for us to be better. So it doesn't matter whether it's in your relationships, in finances, in your spirituality, in business, you know, like your relationship with yourself. It has to start with us. We have to bring the best part of ourselves forward, right? So how I would start is to like sit down and start writing. I love writing. And like start journaling out some of these things. How can I show up better in this space? You know, what can I bring to the table to bring this up a level or two? And so when we're reflecting back, you know, there's going to be some heavy things that come up, right? This was a very emotional year. Like, and I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that most are going to agree. Like when you look back, and my my camera, my pictures and my phone are a really good reflection of where I was at this year, because, you know, maybe you traditionally like love decorating and you do all kinds of fun celebrations and stuff. Well, I found that I didn't celebrate like as boldly this year as I normally do. Right? When it comes to like having parties, I like toned it down. And it wasn't that I wasn't grateful. It's just like it shifted. Like it was just a different year for everybody. Right? So when we look back, there's going to be moments that feel heavy. And I'm just going to like give you the freedom to let it go. Right? And if it feels light, then say, I'm in. Let's keep that. Right? Because sometimes the heavy has been coming around for a while, and that's why it feels so heavy, is because we get sucked right back in. That's like the situations with my dad. You know, it took me back into my childhood when, you know, things like that happened, and it was heavy for a long time. And so I recognized I was in that space, and I was like, you know what? Got to look beyond it, and we've got to learn, and we've got to receive, and we've got to just move on. Right? I don't want to carry this on. So who are you if you aren't comparing yourself to others and to what other people think? Right? Because when we see ourselves, it's often like comparing to other people. Oh, this person's like seeing great success in their business, or look at this person's relationship with her partner, or oh my gosh, her relationship with her kids is amazing, right? And then we compare ourselves to other people. So who are you if you aren't comparing yourselves to what other people think or might think of you? Is your identity shaped by what other people think of you? Right? Because, I mean, what other people think is very important to lots of people. Am I successful? Am I showing up? Am I, you know, XYZ? So a question is can you be happy no matter who is around you? Who says they love you and how business is going? Are you happy with you? Because at the end of the day, it's us that we're stuck with all the time. And I know that in the past, like there were, you know, times when I was like, oh God, I don't want to be alone because I don't want to be alone with my thoughts. because I just don't really like me right now. Right? And so I just needed someone else to distract me. And so, I mean, because really, honestly, all like the human, all our spirit, all our soul is looking for is at the end of the day, what's going to make us happy. We're all looking for joy. We're all looking for happiness, you know, whether it's in the things that we're purchasing, whether it's in how we are serving others, whether it is, you know, releasing whatever amount of weight or how healthier and vibrant we're feeling. Like, we just want to feel happy. Like, ultimately, that's what we're here for, you know, and all these experiences, we want to find joy and happiness from them. So asking yourself, like, can I find the happiness in me without having XYZ outside to activate it within me? Right? Because lots of people are like chasing that thing in order to get that happiness, which comes really quickly. We're all goal achievers, and we reach that goal and it like tickles our fancy for a little bit, and it's like, okay, what's next? Right? Which isn't a bad thing. We're always leveling up, but we need to be able to find the happy within ourselves first. And then you're like in that space all the time. All those things will come and they're so fun, but it doesn't matter like whether they're coming fast or slow, like you're still going to be in that state of happy. Right? So what, I guess my next question is, what consistently nourishes me? Question for you. What consistently nourishes you? Is it being around friends and family? Is it taking a bubble bath on your own? Having, you know, beautiful dinner and music? Having that quiet time in the morning to just, you know, be with you and source and just study or read or sitting in front of the, I almost said campfire, Christmas tree with your coffee in the morning. Like, what nourishes you? Because lots of people don't know these things, right? They never stop to think about it, because those are going to be the things that we're drawn to. And then another question on the other side of it is, what drains you? What lowers your vibe and depletes you? And those are the things that people don't want to feel. I'll just be completely honest. But you need to allow the feeling to come up so that you can change it. Because if we're running from these things and we're like, oh, there's that thing, I just got to leave, you know, you gotta, I tell my clients all the time, we have to like figure out where we're at. We're all in our own little, you know, room of garbage. I have my daughter's balloons from her birthday party here. So I just imagine like we all have our stuff. So some things raise us up and some things deplete us. Well, let's imagine this as a garden. And we all, you know, we have those beautiful flowers that we love and like smell, and they look and we just see them and they make us happy. And then there's like this nasty thistle weed over here that, or a stink weed or whatever it is, that just, it pulls us down. It drags our energy down. We're like, oh God, the roots on that sucker are really deep. And I know I'm going to have to work really hard to get it up, right? Well, we all have those things, those thoughts, those things that really deplete us and lower our vibe. Or maybe it's a person, or maybe it's a situation, or, I mean, and you know what? All those things, it's your perception, how you're thinking of it. It's your consciousness. So recognizing what those things are, allowing yourself to feel it. Oh, that does not feel good when I feel that, when I think about that, right? But we're feeling it. So when you do this, don't judge yourself, right? You want to recognize what that is and then be like, okay, I choose to change this, and change and replace it. Because lots of people are like, oh, I'm gonna release these. Well, the thing is no space is left empty. You need to replace it. Otherwise, that thing will just come right back and then just grow even stronger, right? So we need to like feel it and then release it and then replace it. And then we're gonna nurture that replaced feeling. So if it's something that, I mean, I usually go for the direct opposite of whatever that thing is that we're needing to reflect on and replace. If, let's say that someone activates you, traditional name is trigger, but I don't like to say trigger. I like to say activate. They activate a feeling in you, right? So for me, this was some of my family, extended family. And whenever this person was around, I was just like, oh, cannot wait not to be in their space. But then I was like she activated me. And I was like, you know what, that's not serving. It's not serving me. And my energy changes. Like, I don't want to allow that anymore. And so then I decided to take that feeling out and be like, change my process around the whole thing and just plant something very beautiful and loving and kind around her, right? So now when, you know, I'm in that same space or I'm in a gathering where we might interchange, the energy is completely different, right? So we have to replace that belief about it, whatever that thing is. The thing that drains you, depletes you, lowers your vibe. And then why do you want to sit with it? Right? Because oftentimes we'll get into that low vibe and we'll like hang out there for a minute because it's cozy, it's been there a while. People like to wallow in their own like misery, they say. So what do you want to happen next? What would you like instead? Right? Because with this family member, like I had my whole expectation before the event even happened. I'm like, oh God, XYZ is going to be there. I know exactly what she's going to say and it's going to activate me. And I'm right. Like I have this whole story all planned out for before I even got there. And then she had no room except to step into that space, which I created for her. Right? Like that's the only space she could step into because that's the space I had let her have in my mind, in my space. And so what would you love instead? So I decided that, you know, when we do come in contact, that we are very kind and very loving and we raise each other's energy. So whether that is by not being in each other's space, who's to say that has to happen, or by, you know, coming, meeting, and then like us completely shifting how we are together, or like just saying a kind word and moving on, right? So I must say that once I decided to do this, every single time that this individual has been in my vicinity, we have missed each other. And we just don't come in contact anymore because we are not meeting in that same space, right? Like we do not hold the space for each other to like interact or affect each other. So, I mean, it can always be really, really cool in how it comes apart. And then I have a few more. What do I owe myself is another question. What do you owe yourself this year? To be better for the sake of others was a big one for me, right? We use our family, we use our kids, We use our clients, we use other people as anchors to help us to be the best version of ourselves. You know, some of the best things in life, like in my life, are my kids, my husband, my family, my parents, like, but to believe in myself was one of like the most powerful things I could do for myself. Right? What do you owe yourself? To bring into the new year? And then over the course of 2021, what strength did you identify? Because let's just face it, we've all been thrown all kinds of different directions. It is an uncharted territory. And we've all been activated, we've raised, we've lowered, but we have grown. You have grown. You have been strengthened. What is your strength that you have claimed and identified from this past year? And then the contrast to that, what weaknesses did you identify? Because it's the law of polarity. There's never just one, right? There's weakness and there's strength. There's inside, there's outside, there's up, there's down. Like none of them can be in the same space separately, right? Like it just is. And just reminding you, like, not to be judgmental when you're looking at like those weaknesses, right? But to reflect so that you can connect with who you are. And just look at the reflection and showing you a strength that you need in your life. It's not that you failed. It's just showing you a space that you need to grow in. And the strength, like you don't have to focus on that one anymore. That's yours. You've got it. You've claimed it. But where can you grow into? Right? And that weakness is going to be that reflection of a space that you can step into and strengthen. And then the last one is, how can I stay optimistic every day? I mean, in reality, it's a choice, right? Just law of polarity, up, down, good, bad, you know, positive, negative. It's a choice. And what we choose to like steer towards and focus on is what we're going to receive or make room for. So these are going to become tools for you to use to live it and talk it and just be it every day. So another one, like this year, I was really looking in prosperity. And I was like, I mean, when we say prosperity, like what's your first thought? Money, abundance of things, abundance of time. Like, so I really had to like look and take a deeper connection of like what prosperity really is for me. Because for everybody, it's going to be different. So connecting with like our programming that we all have, like how many are working hard and grinding it out? And I mean, grinding becomes a part of that vibration, right? That we live in. Oh, I'm over here grinding, or I'm doing my side hustle and I'm really grinding it out, right? Like, or stepping into that daily grind. Like it's such a thing, you know, like where almost like where we wear that badge of honor as to how many hours we worked, how many businesses we have, how much, you know, we've achieved or attained during the year or that week, that day. how hard we worked, right? That's a vibration. And the law of vibration, like, whatever vibration you're on is what you attract, what you connect with, right? So if we feel like we have to grind hard, we have to work really hard, well, that's what the universe is going to bring to you. Yep, that's what you got to bring. That's what you got to do. You got to keep showing up, got to grind it out, right? So what if you could live in the idea of progression instead of perfection? Because it was reflected to me the other day that a lot of the times why I didn't take action on certain things was because I thought that I needed to be perfect before it could be implemented, before it could be put out there. I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like I had to have all the things figured out, and I had to have XYZ all lined up in order before it could like make an impact on anybody else. Right? Well, the idea of perfectionism is that's unattainable. It's never going to be done. Right? So if you change your idea to progression instead of perfectionism, you'll win every single time. Right? You're progressing towards like having that thing exactly the way that you want it. Right? I mean, because in reality, like we're all growing all the time, and something that you're like create and you market and you put it out there, and or let's say that you bake a cake or a pie and it looks perfect to you now. Maybe you just started baking and you're like, yes, this is perfection. And then like you compare it to like, maybe a professional baker's and you're like, oh, wow. Okay, I got a long way to go. But for me, then that was perfection, right? Like it's progression. And all the time that you're growing and expanding and stepping into yourself and, living through all those spaces, it's just going to continue to expand and get better and better and better. So when we hustle and grind, right, I want you to reflect on your habits. And maybe you've like released the hustle and the grind. That's not your space anymore, right? But which is something that I am working on. That's a habit that I am very conscious on shifting. But I will say that the doer in me, the masculine energy, I'm gonna make this happen. I gotta, if I'm not working, I'm not doing something enough. That does rise up. And reflect on your habits and decide if this is how you really want to be. Right? How much did you love life this year? Or were you hustling, grinding, and giving up the very things that you were hustling, grinding for? Right? I was talking with a friend this morning and she's like, these are the years with your kids that you need to really cherish. She's like, they're all amazing, but these ones right now, make sure you're present. I was like, oh man, you are so right. I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. But I think every single like age, like it's still the same feeling. But just such a reminder that you don't want to be hustle and grinding and then like miss out on everything that you're doing it for, right? So hustling and grinding is overwhelming. You feel like you have to do more and you're always like having to do more. There's never an end. You have to be more productive. And I want you to tell you this is all learned. It's all a program. It's all habit that we've received from those before us. That was received before them. That was received before them. Like that's just the generation, the space that we're in, right? So we have to work on releasing the limitations of that and just let things come. Let things be easy. Do it. Focus on what brings joy and happiness. That's what you're doing all this for anyway. If something doesn't feel good, don't do it. Right? Listen to that guide within you. Instead of going outside, what do you think I should do? Feel yourself inside. Like, I have a beautiful opportunity, amazing opportunity before me, which I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be so much fun. And then something inside is like, no, now's not the time. I'm like, okay. And the old me would have been like, oh, but I got to do it. And she's expecting me to, and I don't want to let her down and blah, blah, blah. And I can fit it in. But you got to listen. Like, what is it going to bring you joy to do that thing? It's going to make you happy. And I mean, the answer might be yes, but it might be not right now. Right? You got to really like quiet, slow down and listen. Okay. So really just tapping into the let and making sure that you're like, whatever your choices that you make are, that they are bringing you joy and happiness. And sometimes we need to anchor to doing these things for other people, right? Like, I ask so many people, okay, so what's your goal? What do you want to do? And they're like, oh, I want to like create this amazing lifestyle for my family. I want my kids to know XYZ, you know, like, and that's really, really powerful to have them as an anchor to keep you focused, keep you driven, keep you moving forward, right? But the magic happens when you choose to do it for you. You know that you are the center of everything around you, right? When you do it for you, oh my gosh, it just like expands and accentuates. Yeah, that word's not coming out, but it just radiates out onto everybody else and magnifies, right? So instead of using your family, you can still use your family or your friends or your kids or whatever as an anchor, but really focus on like, what do I want? What are you getting out of it? Right? And that's where the magic really happens. Making you the priority, right? You are the one in your life that you've been waiting for. And see how it changes everything for everyone around you when you put yourself first. Right? It's not selfish. It's being focused and allowing the things that come to you that are meant to. So courage is not being fearless, but knowing what matters more than your fear. It's your mission. I'm going to say that again. Courage is not being fearless, but knowing what matters more than your fear. It's your mission. Do you know what that thing is that you desire, what the impact you want to make is? And we're going to talk about goals tomorrow, but today we're just really focusing on reflecting on this past year, the positives, our strengths and our weaknesses, right? And you know, what strengthened you and then what brings you down. And that way we can really, you know, learn from the lessons that this year had to share us. Maybe, you know, because how many of us have year after year after year had the same thing? It's like, oh my gosh, this year looks the same as next year. And every year you're like, this is the year. And then at the end of the year, you're like, oh, no, this wasn't the year. Well, it's because we didn't grow from what we needed to or learn from what we needed to, let go of the past, change it and move forward, right? So when we make something only about ourselves, it doesn't have the same impact. So that's where like the challenge is in like doing it for ourselves first. I think it's important, like I said, to have that anchor of your family, your friends, your clients, to anchor you in showing up and growing and having that impact. Because let's just, I mean, I was always like, for the most part, interested in wellness and eating healthy and that kind of thing. But it wasn't until I got pregnant that I was really aware of what was going in my body, what I was using, what products I was using, whether I was getting fast food from Burger King or I was eating my vegetables and making sure I had nutrient dense foods, right? Like I was a lot more lax with my diet and everything before I got pregnant. But then there was that little soul that was growing inside me that totally 100% depended on me for the nutrients that were going to make that baby grow and have all of its fingers and toes and all the things it needed. Well, I didn't determine if it had all fingers and toes, but like to have all those foundational things, right? So I became a lot more focused on what I was using, making sure not to like be around people that were smoking and blah, 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 right? So that baby was my anchor to making the positive choices I was making, right? So figure out what your anchor is. But then also we want to move from like having that anchor to making ourselves an anchor. Do the things that you love. You know, like imagine what your perfect day looks like. And this is something that we're going to talk more into tomorrow, as far as like creating those goals for next year and actually like creating an action board to be able to, it's a little different than a vision board, because vision boards I think are amazing tools, but I have a few different pieces to add to it to really stimulate you into taking action. And pay attention to some of the feelings that you're having. You know, like lots of people have a side hustle. That's like the new term. Well, new term in the last 10 years. Oh, I have this side hustle, right? Well, the whole energy around side hustle means it's something on the side that isn't getting a lot of energy except for what's left over, right? Like that's never going to be the main thing because it's on the side, right? So instead of saying, oh my gosh, I have a side hustle, maybe shift it to I'm an entrepreneur, right? Maybe you're working a 9 to 5 and you have this thing on the side that you are building in order to take over. And I think everybody's intention, well, not everybody, lots of people's intention is that, but the energy that they're giving it isn't supporting that. I mean, do you want to hustle? Hustle was something I dropped a long time ago. I'm like, I do not want to hustle because that just does not sound fun to me. Hustle is like me imagining back in the day when my flight was late and my other one was leaving in 5 minutes and I had to book it with my kid and all of the luggage to the other end of the airport. And I arrived out of breath and almost missed my flight. That's hustling. That doesn't sound fun, right? So what created the problems or challenges that you're living in right now? I mean, because we can't solve a problem in the same way that it was created. And so many people come at it with the same perspective, right? I know for me, like I would have like this cycle, the same thing would come around, like, you know, every time I was launching a program or having a class, the same thing would happen. And I couldn't solve it with that same idea. Like I had to come at it differently. So what created the problems you're living now can't be solved the way that they were started. So looking at what created it within you, so it's a vibrational thing. So I'll just give an example, like my husband, like we would be in great harmony, right? And then I would come up with my launch and have my class, and everything would be great until it came to me, like, you know, giving my pitch for my sale or whatever. And then he would undoubtedly come in like the night before and like bring down my energy, like blast me with something. And then that would bring down my energy, and then nothing, and then I would go into that class and then sales would be down, right? And I was like, and it happened like this, like 4 or 5 times. I was like, ooh, there's something going on here. There's a cycle, right? And he had no choice but to meet me in the energy that I was creating. And then it became an expectation. Oh, I'm going to launch again. Oh, here comes my sale day. Oh, okay. Cue husband, come in and douse me with whatever you got going on, right? So then I was like, okay, I don't want that vibration anymore. I have to shift something. And I know that I have to shift it because he's just riding in on the wave that I'm giving him space to ride in on. And so I had to do that internal work to like change what I was expecting and to change the vibration around like my, and I had to go to the core of like what it was around like selling and being worthy of receiving clients and, you know, all of those things that played in the background of him showing up and taking me down. So I had to get really connected with like my vibration, the ways that I was thinking. So when someone puts a suggestion out, you want to notice how easily it is to get on the conversation or in harmony with it. You know, it's someone makes a comment about, so I'll just tap into a conversation I had earlier today. Someone makes a comment about like masks and how they don't like how our kids have to be in masks. Like, well, that's a conversation that lots of people are having right now. And so they made the suggestion, and then I had the choice whether to hop on that vibe that they were on or to change it to something different, right? Or so maybe you're in a community or you're in a space where like, have you ever talked with people and they're like, oh yeah, I have such bad back pain. And then they're like, like going back and forth, well, my back hurts more than your back. And like, oh, this happened. And, you know, like it just carries on. So we just have to like really be aware of the conversations that we choose to step into and the vibration that we choose to be in. Because another thing to be aware of is what perception you're in harmony or struggling with, right? Because everything that happens is only due to our perception to it, right? How we are seeing or receiving it. And so what is your perception to, any number of things? Your finances for the end of the year, right? Is it something that you're really proud of and you're excited? Or is it something that you're struggling with? Because when you put focused attention on one thing, Maybe you put your focused attention on your passion, on that calling, on that, on your purpose, right? Then it gets rid of all the other distractions, like everything that isn't that, like you're just like, yeah, okay. I was talking with my mom and she was mentioning some things that were going on in the media or something. I'm like, you know what? I hadn't even heard, not on my radar, can't do anything about it. Keeping going this way, right? Like, and so getting rid of those distractions allows acceleration towards where you're going, right? Like that focus attention is really, really key. And releasing what isn't serving you. So by reflecting on this past year, seeing what rose you up, what brought you down, the good things, the things you learned from, the things that you, maybe I need to learn from that so I don't replay it next year, right? So powerful. Because if we don't reflect and release that which no longer serves us and replace it with something positive, then we are going to relive it and relive it and relive it until we do, right? So, yeah, I think that's all I want to bring up, because I mean, this is a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff to really sit and think about. Either I reflect in the morning, I get up early in the morning and like do my reflections. But take the time to like sit down and write some of these things out. And I love to do what's called a burning ceremony. I don't know if you've ever done a burning ceremony, but I would recommend writing down 3 things that you want to release from 2021 that no longer serve you, that you do not want to take into 2022 with you. And then do a little burning ceremony. And if you want, you can take a picture and share it into the community, or a little video and share it into the community. Yeah. So write down 3 things that you're not taking with you into 2022. Because you're ready for something new. And we have to create space by not taking those things with us for the new to show up. Right? So tomorrow we are going to focus on creating those goals, that vision that you're stepping into, getting that clear connection to it. And really being able to see them come more quickly. And recognizing that those goals that we are receiving, it's creating space for you to step into, to grow into. That's all that is. Because they're not for us to get, they're for us to grow. And it's almost like benchmarks, saying like, ooh, I really grew into this. Oh, look, I grew even more. This came really quick, right? But the reflection and release, it's like going through that closet and going through and being like, oh, yeah, this doesn't fit anymore. This is not hanging out. Oh, that's really old garbage that I've been hauling around with me for way too long. No, I'm creating space for more beautiful things to show up in this closet. Right? Because anybody that has moved, or I have this closet over in the next room that is like just ridiculous, and it's going to be gone through. But if we don't address it, it doesn't go away. It's always there hanging out, waiting to rise its head until you open that door and it's like, right? So taking the time to do the house cleaning, and this is the perfect time so that we can like get rid of the garbage, honor and respect yourself, and celebrate yourself for like everything that you went through and everything that you experienced and everything that you grew through and everything that you realize you don't want to take and shift and do again next year. You want to grow from, right? And celebrate yourself in that and pick those 3 things, because you can't go and change 20 things at once because that's just really overwhelming. So I like to choose just 3, right? 3 things to focus on, to release, let go, step in something new. Because where there's focused attention, oh my gosh, there's some energy that gets to like be put into new places and really change some things, right? So I'm going to do a real quick meditation. Ooh, I'm not sure if I can find my music. I'm going to do a real quick meditation, and then I will release us from today's class so that you can go and do your reflections for showing up tomorrow. All right, and I'm going to turn this down. I already know it because that'll be really loud. Okay. All right, so take this time. Can you hear me and the music? It's not too loud. Okay. All right, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And a deep exhale. Just imagine yourself middle to end of 2022, as if everything were exactly the same as this year. Nothing had changed. Imagine that your relationships are the same. Imagine your finances are the same. Imagine your health is the same. Imagine your self-love is the same. Are you okay with 2022 being the exact same as 2021? Because that's what's going to happen if you don't take the time to reflect and release and choose something different. So now, imagine October 2022. And imagine new feelings, new growth in your business, in your relationships, in your finances, in your connection with yourself, your connection with joy and happiness. Being more tuned into joy and happiness every day. Being more connected with your desires and the things that just light you up and make you strive forward with ease, and allowing all the great things to come out to and through you. All the old roadblocks, those big beliefs that no longer serve you are no longer there. Imagine yourself looking in the mirror, looking deep in your own eyes, and saying, "You did it. Look at you, you did it." You feel elated with all that you've accomplished. You look at yourself and you are grateful for the time that you gave yourself to grow into this beautiful, connected soul. Your beliefs about who you are and what you're doing have completely shifted. And you see and feel the love and appreciation of all those around you. That's lives have been changed because you chose to focus and release things that didn't serve you anymore and change the focus onto something that did. How is your life different? How do you feel? You created this space, and then it moved into your space. You aligned with it. You did this. Celebrate and give yourself a high five for being so freaking amazing. Celebrate your wins, your growth. Because everything is within you. You are the one that you've been waiting for. You just had to believe in her again. Let go of all the judgments of others, expectations, things that you didn't really want that you thought you did. No, you. You are connected with you. And there's nowhere that you can't go. You're free. Soar high and keep rising, my friend. All right. Thank you so much for being here. So grateful for you. And if you feel like unmuting and sharing anything, have any questions I can address, just feel free.
I just want to say thank you.
Of course. My pleasure. All right. Well, same time, same place tomorrow. And make sure to give yourself some time today to go over those reflections and do a little burning ceremony. Share it with us if you have time. All right. Expect abundance. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.